You will learn more about her and her work in the upcoming presentation, and we will go in a dialogue afterwards. Merci.
Thank you, Suzan. Do you hear me? Yeah. So, hello. So, I am Gwendaline Bachini. And so, yes, I am a new media choreographer, XR director, and the founder of l'ACuTe, which is the structure that supports my project in general. I'm here to introduce you the project Spiritus Mundi, which is our project partially developed here with the team from Première, and to explain, to give you the full vision of the project, and what I mean with it, I need to, because this project is a natural progression, seems to me to be a natural progression in my artistic path. Sorry, there is a very... so to explain it, I need to make some step backward, and to give you the initial premise, the starting premise of my artistic path. What, I mean, why and how I use technology in dance, and then what, in the second part, then what tools have been developed for the realization of my project, because yes, this, and the third part, a presentation of Spiritus Mundi, and how the development of the tools by the Première project, AA, seems inherently contained within the subject of the project. So, the initial premise. I mix dance, movie, and computer coding to create a dance interactive installation, and I use volumetric video to do dance interactive experiences in virtual and augmented reality. I start my this interactive path, let's say, in Berlin, because I was questioning my heart, and I started by making some performances on stage, and as I made a film school called Le Frénois, I was putting a video on screen, and I was not agree with that, actually, because the dancer has to synchronize with the video, and I didn't like this this way to behave. And because we were working so hard with the dancer, and the video makes them as pixel, and I lose all what I do like with the dance, with the dancer, actually. So I didn't want to do that, and I stopped, and I went in Berlin and discussed with artists from that. Change everything you do, everything in the way that you are doing, making choreography, how you are writing choreography, actually. So this question, my answer was, okay, so interactivity might be a solution, might be the new things of the new technology for me, for my artistic path. Huh? And so I start to write the first, what we call later a motion graph, which is a non-linear way to choreograph, and in order that that the computer come to choose the right film sequences, because I made an aesthetic switch, which is to think, to write, and to conceive, and to choreograph choreography based on the movement of the audience. So this make interactive installation, and this need what we call later motion graph, this way to write a non-linear choreography. And the second thing that they told me, the artists from the ZKN, but you know, if you, the technology for the technology doesn't mean nothing for dance if you don't tell something with that. Before to think I want to use this or this, you need to think what do you want to tell to this to your audience, and then if technology is obvious, so use technology, but if it's not obvious, forget it. So yes, that was a point, and I wanted to it's essential that technology is embedded within the subject I wish to address through the work. So that's the 2 points that I use today too, in order to make my artwork. And I start with Tactile that you see, which was a touch screen, life-size touch screen about identity, intimacy. And I wanted to say at the time, what kind of intimacy is it when I exist only through your gaze, through your touch, when my body become an object. And without you, I do not exist, but who are you and who I am? And to do this, to make a shape for this, we made a touch screen, a life-size touch. You can orientate the movement of the dancer depending on where to touch the screen. So that was the first motion graph. French researcher heard about this way to make interactive dance, and for 2D actually, and they wanted to know if I would be interested to see their technology. It was 22 cameras, a ring of 22 cameras, called 4D at that time. It's a very long time ago, and where it was so a ring of 20 cameras capable of to directly take the real dancer, film the real dancer, and put it in 3D. That was really interesting as tools. But and at that time it was also 2009. That means the birthday of Darwin, and I was thinking about Darwin at the same moment. So I say, okay, let's make a project together. So that was with the first team was with at INRIA in Grenoble, and but their tools have some problems. But first, I was saying about the subjects that I wanted to focus on, let's say, and it was that nature always tend to make similar things, but always introduce differences, and these differences are essential for the evolution of the species. So they were okay to do this project with me, and this project, of course, with me was interactive. So we had to manage also problem with the tools, because dancer was really the movement was really faithful to the dancers, but they had concavity, what we call concavity. It is stuff in between arm and body, and also they were talking about temporal consistency. They try to have this, and for me it was needed to be interactive, and a way to see a vision, to see a way to see the project. So that was in 2009, and so INRIA ask, and there is a startup called the 4D View Solution from INRIA, who developed the technology, the 4D technology, which is called now volumetric technology, and SIP Conseil, so two companies and INRIA, and we make CreaMove, the CreaMove R&D, Research and Development Computer Coding Project. Yes. So yes, this is the system that I am talking about, which is which was really interesting at the end of the project when the development have been done. They went from 22 cameras to 80s at the time, and then much more. Now I don't know how much they have. I think 180s, and so it's the camera ring instantly films the full complexity of the reality. The light on the skin, the blood circulation, the facial expression in motion, the intensity of the breathless body, each detail that you can perceive unconsciously, but that tell you this is a real person. So this was a very good tools, but we needed also an algo from INRIA. Because for interactive, for motion graph, we need transition between each loop that I am doing in order that the computer can choose the right movement. So they made a software because CreaMove was a FUI, it's a fund here, industrial fund in the end. And I made not one but four projects with them until since 2009 until 2019. And I show you just the last one because it won a Lumière Award at Stereopsia. Sound. No sound. So, now Spiritus Mundi. So Spiritus Mundi is a new project. I am still working on the living world, but I open the vision to the link human nature. And indeed, Spiritus Mundi is based on two approaches of the living world, one scientific, with the botanist Francis Allais, and the other one magical, and they blend it together to offer a poetic utopia where mankind harmonize and participate in the balance at the vital force at work in biodiversity. So there is a synopsis, a little synopsis, which is needed when you want to do animation, even when you work in dance. So at the last, I read it from here because I didn't write it. At the last, we are just a little bit further in time. At the last primeval forest. This is a fiction. Scientific data scientists join forces with scientists in order to create an AI able to predict the future disaster. And you are volunteers who have come to collect data of an astonishing plant with a singular behavior. And you walk through a garden, because it's for outside. You walk through a garden, in a garden where there is a sculpture, and when you're a vegetal sculpture, and when your gaze stay on one of them, stay on one of them, so suddenly appears Zoe, a fantastic creature, and with her everything changes, and you go in a parallel world where you are able to find hidden secret. We will be able to save the planet. Something in quick, it's that. So the concept, so people are users as with Quest 3 or mobile, and they are in the garden, and they have to save puzzle, and they are helped by Phonios, the EA dance, who helps them to solve the puzzle interpreted by Zoe. Zoe is a fantastic creature who is able to make the plant grow. And each time you solve a puzzle, you have access to a memory, and in this memory is the key to save the planet. So it might be a bit paradoxical to want to treat a subject about nature, which seems in the ground and motionless, with the art of the movement in space, which means dance. But the immersion allows us to rely on a vision of on the nature, like the breath of what they call the breath of the world. I mean, something that goes through, the breath of the world, a respiration. And the full project rely on this movement, the tireless movement that go out and come back in your lungs. You are immersed in something that is in you. So we are working on this with the dancer. We are working on this idea, and yeah, I think what we are doing here with what the team from Première is doing with the AI dance is embedded within this topic, because they want to develop an AI able to animate a volumetric dancer. But with more, let's say, I will let you speak about it, huh? But with less camera, with a system that can capture several dancers all together, with everywhere. So that means that something very less, we have much less cost for the planet, and in that way, I think this, what I call tools, I don't know how to call it, is really consistent with Spiritus Mundi. And Zoe, which is the fantastic being that I am talking. Yeah, I have finished. And Zoe retrace the history of life. So we will use mocap as well, and traditional volumetry. It's just a little view of the starting point of the project here. Voila. And just to say, it is also envisioned to make a WebXR. I don't know if it will be possible, but it's also a way to, because of course this project has a goal to be seen and to reach his audience. So we have several ideas about that here too. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Gwendaline. May I call to the stage Philippe Colantoni, who has been collaborating with Gwendaline. He's the Vice Rector in charge of digital strategy at University Jean Monnet. You have a conversation, right?
Yes, thank you. Thank you, Suzanne. Thank you, Gwendaline. Yes, I have to. Okay, thank you, and thank you to be here. I will present the technical part of this project, and as Gwendaline said, we want with this project propose a technical solution, what we can, how to say that, low cost. But not low cost because we are low cost. We try to do our best and we can set up a system with a lot of camera, but something simple to use, simple, something which can deal with what Gwendaline wanted. And of course, it is a huge challenge. I saw during the presentation of the video, some of my colleagues looking at this video while saying, it's not a big deal. No, it is a big deal. It is a challenge because if it was possible, of course, we already had such tools working without any problem. It exists, tools like this, but they use several cameras, or when they use one camera, they want people alone, without a black background, something with geometry everywhere in order to help the AI to rebuild the 3D world. And basically what we did is first set up the system. As I said, based on a low-cost system, we chose the GoPro. Why the GoPro? Simply because we wanted to use two cameras. I will explain why two cameras shortly, but mainly because it is quite simple to program a GoPro in order to start the video stream from two cameras with something very exact. We can synchronize. This is quite important for such techniques because we are not using 30 images per second, we are using at least 100 images per second. We cannot use something smaller simply because the motion of the dancer are sometimes slow and sometimes fast, and we have to deal with the fastest motion. 100 images per second is the minimum. I think in this case, maybe 200 images per second can solve all the problems, specifically people spinning with long arms like we have here because of one of the dancers. I'm going to show you some results, preliminary result. I will explain why, because as I said, it is very, very challenging. Thank you and non-thank you in both times, because it was very difficult to propose something. Basically, we chose one state-of-the-art model named Multi-HMR, developed by Naver. It is a private laboratory in Grenoble. And this model can estimate from one image the presence of multiple people and the geometry and the positioning of these people. When I say that, okay, it seems that, okay, it's solved. It is a state of the art. You have nothing to do. Well, state of the art means if we check the result with common benchmark, this is the best that we can get actually. And it corresponds to standard benchmark. I mean, video or images which are not or video and or images. It is not things coming from dancer. It is mainly things coming from usual people doing usual things. Okay, dance is something usual, but contemporary dance is less usual because the motion of the bodies, the movement are different of what we can find in the dataset used to train this type of model. This means if we want to use this model, we have to solve a lot of extra problems in order to try to build at the end something which matches with the expectation of the choreographer, Gwendaline in this case. I will first show you the result that we get directly out of the box from the model. Okay? And then I will show you what we can get now by using several techniques, by solving some small problem which seems very small, like tracking people. Tracking people seems to be something without any problem. In fact, it is not the case. Same thing with dance, because when we track people, we use model or algorithm where everything was based on regular motion. Regular motion means, okay, people doing something like this, eventually something like this. But when we have dancer doing something that I can call Brownian motion, this means we get something which does not match with the traditional model. Even if they are trained on dancer, every dance are different, and it's quite difficult to build something which is quite good. Hopefully for us, we have now solution. Thank you, Meta, and Segment Anythings version 2, and the new tracking technique embedded inside this model. Okay, first, you see, this is what I get. You see, the floor is not flat. We get something like this. The model is not inside a plane. It's normal because we are estimating the model inside the camera coordinate systems. And as you can see here, everything is shaking, specifically when you are far away from the front plane. And this is what we get at the end. You see? The result is, how to say that, erratic, non-satisfying, okay? But this is what we get, and we have no choice. The second problem that we had to solve is something that we hate, and I think this is the same thing with the science colleague, people too close. We don't like when people are too close, simply because the model cannot make a huge differentiation between both bodies. And this is what we get here, in this case, just right here. Same thing, this is directly what we get from, and same thing, you see, it is shaking, a pure nightmare. Okay, how to explain why we get something like this? Because with this model, in very good condition, we can get something more like this. Of course, it is not perfect because it is still this model. It is a little bit shaking, but we can see here a scene. We can see the video in background. This video contains geometry. a lot of elements that the model can use in order to estimate relatively correctly the body, but the positioning of the body, which is not the case here. Why? Two reasons. Black background. Second reason, the light. We use a lot of spot, and we get shadow, we get a lot of things. All these things are used by the model in order to do the final interpretation. One of the things, the size of the two people and the black background. When we get someone tall, someone a little bit small, same thing. The model can confuse the positioning in the y-axis. It is something that we get just right here. Okay, I just said that. Now we have to find solution because Gwendaline wants solution. The first solution that we can bring is, okay, let's use some signal processing techniques, some interpolation, some occlusion techniques, and let's try to do something. And also, we have a second camera. And what we saw is, okay, this model is quite good to estimate the X and the Y, not good for the Z. If we get a perpendicular camera, we can use the value coming from the second camera in order to inject this value, if everything is well synchronized, of course, which is the case here, the value inside the second result coming from the first camera. And the result at the end can be something like this here. It is not yet perfect, but it is okay. It is okay because this was the first attempt to do things, and we will do some new capture in 2 days with a system exactly the same, but not the same place. The background will not be black, and we will have some extra lighting in order to get something better than what we get here. This means the light system that we will use will be less directional, more ambient in order to get something a little bit more evident. You see the result now? It is not yet perfect, okay, but far better from the initial value we get. Now the question is, what is happening when we get two bodies? Still, some problem remain for us. In this case, we deal with the occlusion. As I said, for the occlusion, we deal with a system based on interpolation. Interpolation plus approximation based on polyharmonic spline, if you know radial basis function. So I have to add some math. It's important for me. I'm joking. But definitively, we can get the help of some mathematical method in order to get something which is not so good, actually, but it is the best that we can do from now with this type of video. I hope with the next set of video, it will be possible to do something better. One thing remains absolutely impossible for us with the state-of-the-art model available now, body to body. If one person takes one other person and move with this person, there is no model which works actually. We try a lot of techniques, but actually nothing is working right now. I hope to do some testing with some segmentation techniques and masking techniques, but I'm pretty sure that it will work a little bit better, but it remains difficult for us. And if I give you the result now for this second case where the body are very close, it remains not so good. It is far better than the initial video because you remember it was shaking all the time, but this is the best that I can get right now for such motion. It is not yet satisfying, but it is the beginning of something. And we will try to get better result and continue to deal with such very interesting problem, which need, I think, more times. And we are waiting some new model. Actually, we are using multi-HMR as input, but the system that we are producing is ready to accept some other model in order to reprocess and to provide eventually new solution based on new state-of-the-art model. The question now is why we are not developing a new model? Well, it is a lot of work, and in order to do that, I think we have the expertise. Damien Muselet is an expert of computer vision and building new model, but the time that we need in order to rebuild such model and the computational time that it also needs in order to train such model is too time consuming. It will not be possible with the amount of time we had and we have now. That's all.
Thank you very much, Philippe. May I ask to the stage again Gwendaline for a conversation, and Pablo Palacio and Carla Meller. So for and Aggelos Gkiokas. So Carla Meller is responsible for international cooperations at the Academy for Theatre and Digitality in Dortmund, in Germany. We're very happy to have you here as guest. She's one of they are partners of the ACuTe project, which is another EU project focused on culture test beds for performing arts and new technologies. Welcome, Carla. Aggelos Gkiokas is a technical coordinator of the Premier project, and he's a researcher at the Institute of Language and Speech Processing at Athena Research Center. And Pablo Palacio is an artist, is a researcher, a software developer, a composer, and a co-founder of Instituto Stokos in Spain. Welcome, thank you for joining us. And Gwendaline, we met already, and that's it, right? Yes. So we started to talk a bit about motion capture. There are also other motion capture technologies that are being developed in Premiere. Philippe, you will not talk about the other ones. So maybe if I may ask Pablo, can you explain what is motion capture? Like what other technologies are being developed, and how are you using it in your within the context of Premiere in your creative work?
Well, thank you, Suzanne. It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you, Jean Monnet, for this very interesting gathering. And well, I think there are in this project, and in this table, more expert people concerning motion capture, because in our work with Stokos, this is an element, how to, and this is always a problem, how to capture human expressivity, movement, because movement for us in Stokos is also the source of many things. For me as a musician, music is the result of a very sophisticated choreography that reveals in sound forms, like from the beginning, history of our species, very young species, even if we think it's not so young, So movement, was a stimuli also to create sound, and to transform our choreography in other sensory modalities. So this is one of the central elements of Stokos, and another is to how to capture not what movement you do, but how do you do it, the qualitative aspects of movement. And for this, sometimes we use motion capture in the sense that I understand motion capture as a high-end system to really capture the movement, no? Like optical motion capture, now the inertial systems that are very common in the Premiere project. And so what do you capture with motion capture? No? I think sometimes in our case we don't need a very sophisticated reconstruction of a posture, of the skeleton, which is one thing, no? But there are other things like the shape, like the inertial kinematics of movement, the acceleration that you can track with other systems that are not so sophisticated. No? So we always have, in terms of capturing of, I don't know, maybe some Philippe or other partners can say if I am right if I say that motion tracking is more connected to more low-level, more affordable systems. No? And motion capture is really when we are talking about more sophisticated systems of really reconstruction with with a lot of precision the movement. No? So well, this is of course a part, an important part of our work, but not the only one, of course. No, but this is always a problem. No, also when we do workshops, when you want to share the knowledge, you want to share what you do, and you have some motion capture systems, no, that condition the result, the media, the sonification, the visualization, no? And if other artists, workshop attendants, they don't have this system, sometimes they feel frustrated, no? So this is also, I appreciate a lot the approach of Philippe, no, with Gwendaline, how they look for this solution, no, and also with 2 cameras, but also there were some examples today only with 1 camera, and incredible, precise and interesting results, really, no? Even if not real time, which, as you know, for us is, we are like, we are drinking this poison of real time, which is also problematic for many things because you want things instantaneously, but yeah.
Thank you. I was also curious, like in that work, so you combine, you develop the technologies and also the skills to use them, but how, like you also use external skills and know-how and infrastructure, and how is that balance? And I also would like to ask that question later to Carla, but maybe still, can you say something about the balance between like your knowledge, the know-how linked to what you are developing, plus what do you need in terms of infrastructure and external know-how to advance?
Yeah, well, it's true that in Stokos, in our company, and which the core of Stokos is me, is Daniel Visick and Muriel, I'm a choreographer, and Daniel Visick is a software artist, I will call him, no? I'm a composer that also like put my hands in the mud also of the matter, no? Of the darkness of technology. We try to as much as possible when we do a production, we do a piece to create the technology, you know, according to our needs, no? Because sometimes in art and in life, nothing is more expensive than what you get for free, no? So sometimes, okay, I use this and I use that, but then you sometimes arrive to a limit, no? So there's a beauty in trying to discover the world, the things by yourself, no? To looking for solutions, no? For the problems that you have to deal with when you do a piece, because that's the question. Why do you do a piece, no? This is climbing in a mountain. Is a lot of difficulties, no? A lot of complications, no? So what are the problems that you want to solve, no? In this piece, no? And what are the solutions, no? That you can look for, no? What are for example, for us, some abstractions, some phenomena in nature, no? That you want to bring to the stage, make it accessible to the body, translate it into sound, visualize it, or maybe it can be a more extra musical or choreographical problem. No? And in this way, you need to solve this problem, and sometimes this technology, no, can excite the imagination, no? And create some beauty. But sometimes I think if you use a technology because it's there, no? It can be more a problem than a solution, no? Also, so this is always a very tricky, because you know, dance and technology is a controversial field, no? Because you have the body, like this is like connects a lot, I think, with the topic of your piece, no? No, the spiritus mundi, no? The nature, all the resonance of the species, no? That beats inside humans, no? And then the technology that is like a kind of construction of the conscience, no? In order to have the powers of nature, no? In our hands, no? Somehow, no? So I would like to know why you call it spiritus mundi and not anima mundi also, but well, that's another topic.
Yes, we can come back to it, for sure. Maybe, yeah, why not? Can you briefly respond to this question, Gwendaline?
No.
Clear. It was with the, I understood with the breath. So I associate the spiritus mundi with the breath of nature and the immobile and the mobile, but that's like the earth is breathing as we are, and that's how I understood, but that's already an interpretation.
Yes, of course, it's a resonance of the breath of the word in our body. So it's nature taken as a breath. So there is a resonance. So what the technology is doing with the AI, but in the fiction, not in real, actually, is to link the user to the nature, to the way. So the AI, euphonios, link the user to the nature in order to make a dance and create a common destiny. So it is what I am talking about as well. But I don't know if it's answer to your question. Sorry.
No. That's all.
Carla, may I ask you something still, or to respond to this question about internal technologies, new technologies, and in-house skills, and developing knowledge, and making that accessible to others?
Absolutely, I'd love to. First of all, thank you so much for having me here, for being open to also accepting other people and an ACuTe project partner here. I'm very happy to be here. So the Academy for Theatre and Digitality, where I'm working at, is a research laboratory for the performing arts, for artists and creative technologists who work at the intersection of art and technology and art and science. And to answer your question about the knowledge, what we have in-house and what we have, there are kind of two different situations that can happen at the Academy. Number one is that we invite artists from all over the world who are working in any kind of field of the performing arts and combining any kind of technology. When they want to come and do prototypical hands-on research on that, they can come to our institution. Our team consists, half of the people are having a, I'd say, classical theater background, so directors, dramaturgs, people like me who come from an organizational side of the theater. But on the other hand, our team consists of creative coders, of robotic experts. So there's a lot of knowledge on the technical side that we can offer the artists during their residencies, depending on the questions. When it comes to projects where we're accompanying theaters who venture out and want to do a theater production and using technology for the first time, there we accompany them from the beginning to the end, but we don't have the personal capacity to send out, for example, one coder to do one production, because then he'd be, or they'd be, or she'd be busy too much and wouldn't have time to take care of the artists coming to Dortmund. So there what we would do is basically mix and match the theater people with experts from the field who have an understanding of what the artists need, and at the same time have the expertise in the technological field that is needed. So bringing people together who speak the same language and who then can work from the beginning on, from the conceptual phase, that's what we do. And gathering knowledge, every project that comes to the Academy or that we support, needs to be documented. We are a public institution funded by public money, so we feel it's extremely important that everything we do is open source and available, not just to one artist, but to the whole community. So if you're interested in checking out what kind of projects and technologies we've supported so far, I invite you to look at our homepage. There's a specific webpage called portal.theatre.digital where you find all the artists, but also the technology, and they're describing their learnings, but also share their code. So if you're motivated, you can use the code and make it better in using it.
Thank you, Carla. May I make a switch to Aggelos? Can you make an overview for our people here and online what the kind of technologies that Premiere brings to the theater stage? Also in relation to audience attendance and video preservation of works, so a kind of overview.
Yes, of course. Thank you very much for the question and for coming and joining this. I think that what Premiere actually brings is that we follow, let's say, a more holistic approach to the use of technologies with the arts, in the sense that it's not only the technologies as a form of creating, but also as a form of preserving, as a form of facilitating the process of making art still in a traditional way. So I will explain myself. So we mainly use two kinds of tools. The one is about artificial intelligence, and the second one is about virtual reality. Regarding artificial intelligence, it is one very close to what also Philippe and the group of UGM do, is that we process data streams, either they come from video or from real-time performances with capture, in order to extract new and meaningful data and representations so that we can better understand the performance as it is. On the other hand, the virtual reality is mostly used in order to facilitate remote collaborations among artists or among the audience and the artists. So, long story short, as Premiere, we cover, let's say, a big range of the creation chain of a piece, in the sense that for existing pieces that are already recorded, we offer technologies on how to analyze existing content, existing videos that were recorded several years ago with probably a bad technical setup, which is very common. And through the AI tools, we try to better understand this content and also create new knowledge from this content, so that this content is more accessible to either the audience and enthusiasts or more deeply to theater or dance scholars. I think this is very important. The other very important contribution of Premiere is that this arose mostly during the pandemic, the need of remote collaboration in a way that it's more realistic and more immersive. But I think, so one of the pilot applications of the Premiere is that people that are from different parts, they can connect into a common virtual reality space and perform and practice together. Although this was born from the pandemic, I see a great opportunity that artists can collaborate through Europe or through the world, at least at the initial stage, because our findings so far are that the virtual reality cannot substitute the actual physical connection. But it can be used as a medium for promoting collaboration, so a part of a collaboration can be done remotely and then can be continued in a physical space. And also virtual reality is used as a tool to attend a live performance remotely. So the other pilot application of Premiere is that we'll have a physical performance done in a venue with audience in the venue and let's say a virtual reality digital twin or maybe enhanced with other elements can be transmitted so someone can experience a performance in a much more interesting way as we would do with video streaming. And finally, the fourth application of the technology of Premiere are how these tools are elements of the creation process itself. So this is more close to what you are doing. So how the VR as a tool can be used for creating a new form of art, or the AI. But I think Pablo is more, they are the partner that they are doing this, so if you want, you can explain more. Thank you.
Thank you, Aggelos. Yes, we are in charge of this part of the project that is the creation environment for dance, and is a combination of machine learning algorithms and more conventional algorithms in order to generate movement, synthesize sound, synthesize image, and out of the body. Okay, so why do we combine this type of algorithms, no? Machine learning, AI algorithms, with other generative, more conventional approaches? This is just because the degree of control and interaction and sense of responsiveness, no? With, for example, a rule-based system. For example, you create the rules to generate an automatic score, no? The rules to create choreography. It's more like a more approachable way of relating with technology. While with machine learning, it's a data-driven approach. You are conditioned by the data, no? And so it's a different approach. And what I think is interesting of this environment, of this dance creation environment, is that the models that we are creating, they are accessible for artists in order for them to train, in order for them to adapt, and even if they have programming skills to transform them, no? Compared to the large language models. So it's a combination of tools that allows the translation of movement into other sensory modalities, how to translate choreographic movement principles into music, into light also. To light, this is another part of the creation environment, how to grab this, for example, these beams of light that is annoying Gwendaline, no? So imagine if now you do like this, no? And you direct it to me, no? So, shut up, Pablo, no? No, so this is another part of the environment.
I know, Carla, you are part of a network of theater institutions, and we were curious, how do you think theater institutions will implement, or what is the current status of implementing new technologies? And if you listen now, what is being developed here, how do you see that happening in the future? How do they implement it? What do you see, where do you see theater going now? So performing arts in a new era with all these new technological developments. You say, of course, out of the body, Pablo, I think it's still very important, and also always in relation to the physical presence and physical reality, but augmented. Where does it go? What do you see happening? And how do theater institutions integrate it?
I see that theaters react very differently to the options that are available. I can only speak to the theaters that I experience, so mostly the German-speaking field, but then also the European context, that there's a lot of hesitation happening, that many theaters are used to their traditional way of producing, which means 6 to 8 weeks of rehearsal, and then you have the premiere, and then it's a repertoire theater, so you need to have time in the morning to do rehearsals, and then in the evening you have another show. So time on stage is really precious and rare. And we all know, as people who are working with technology and the arts, that if you're using technology, or sometimes even hacking technology, to explore the potential, well, you need time. You need more time than the regular 6 weeks beforehand to have time reserved for technical rehearsals and that sort of thing. And I feel there are theaters who are very curious, and they are driven by an artistic direction who wants to, let's say, deep dive into VR. There's, for example, one theater in Germany, in Augsburg. They created a new branch for VR theater, and they do opera in VR, and they even enlarged their team, and now they have the knowledge in-house on how to support artists in using VR and program it at all. So there are specific theaters that are very I'd say, curious and are going that way. But for the most part of it, I still feel that hesitation. And some are doing first steps, and I feel what would really help is connecting with each other and learning from the mistakes that other people did. Like for us, it's completely clear that you need more time than the traditional rehearsals, that you need some time to do maybe several iterations, to have the creative coders or the technologists be part of the creative team. Because in the German system, for example, the people that are more part of the tech side, they would come at the very end for the last 2 weeks and doing video and sound and light. And that is not working when you want to have an AR element or something like that. So inviting theaters to talk to other theaters who are already doing that, and being open to changing your regular structure would help. I feel like somewhere on the way, it's always depending on an artistic vision, if I'm curious about it, if I'm interested. Of course, it's depending on the artistic teams that work with the theaters, that bring in some interest. But right now, it's still a slow process, I'd say.
How do you see that, Aggelos?
I agree. In general, I think it's a natural to have this slow process. I think we need more time to engage the different disciplines and also to understand each other. This is something that we also experience in Premiere. We are entering the 3rd year of the project, and I feel that it has been lately that we are all almost on the same page. So we had to go through a very large process of brainstorming, exchanging ideas, not understanding each other, to reach a point that now we understand each other, and we have learned a lot from each other. On the other hand, I think it is a choice not to use technology. So I don't see that technology is something that expanding and will, let's say, be everywhere. I think once these technologies are in mature state and are widely used, it could be a part of the normality that, some people, I think, will also continue to use more traditional techniques as a part of the creation process, and I think this is the most natural to happen.
Yeah, thank you. Of course, you want to add something?
Yeah, can I add something? I loved what you said in your presentation earlier, that it's always, an artistic, that you need a link between the technology and the story you want to tell. It doesn't make sense to use technology if you don't need it for your story. So I feel like it's never a discussion about vice versa, like old or new theater. It really isn't. It's just showing that technology can be like a little toolbox that you add sometimes, but don't necessarily all the time. It's always the question if you need it.
Yeah, but there are like new terms like that are that's something that appears now, which I don't know how old it is, but I saw in your dossier, Gwendaline, like la danse augmentée. Can you speak a little bit about that? What does it mean also in relation to the physicality of the dancer and also the dancer of the future? La danse augmentée, can you expand a bit from your perspective?
Actually, I took this word from Châtelet, le Théâtre du Châtelet, and now Chaillot, which are huge theater in France, actually, big one. And they all make what they call, and also Opéra de Paris, and they all are making what they call a third scene for the augmented dance. So it is not to work, to take the place of what is existing, which means a repertory, beautiful one, and from a classical, or it's something else. And I like this idea, actually. It's definitely proposing something else. So in my, for me, I want to see it like for dance experience in augmented reality, for example, and interactive, because interactivity changed everything for theater, because people can't be sit on the jauge, on the seat. They have to act to see the choreography. Augmented dance can mean that, interacted, another way, a switch aesthetic, another way to perceive and to propose the dance. For my part, it's fully virtual. So I use a headset and mobile, and yeah, I use that. So and technology where the dancers are not there anymore. So for me, it's like this. But I fully loved some performance on the stage too. So it's not to try. It's not to put a concurrency. You know, it's something else. That's all. And then augmented is this other way to perceive the dancer, virtual dancer. But it is not future. It's the right now, and the dance will exist anyway, like a beautiful painting, or it will exist anyway. And and you can't change the relationship when there is two real human, one in front of them. So it's something else. It's something else. And I'm very, I was, at my very beginning, it was very hard with theater because of volumetry. And it was huge, and I was new, and it was, theater, look at me like this. No, not possible. You want to kill dancer. No, I just try, anyway, I don't know, but I just try something else, something new. It's not to kill what I love. It's just my way is another way. That's it. So augmented can be this other way that is coming step by step in France with Chaillot, Châtelet, and Opéra de Paris, for example. Another way to perceive dance.
Yeah, great. Are there any questions from the audience for the people here on stage? Maybe, peut-être. Yes, if there are.
Any question? Oh, yeah, please.
It seems that you're all longing for some kind of interactivity, so that means the engagement of the spectator or the end user. What kind of experience you would like them to have? So you have different kind of longings for interactivity, but maybe you can delve into that. What kind of interactivity with your spectators or viewers you would like to achieve?
Maybe I say something very briefly because I think somehow it addresses the question and also like to add something to what you said concerning the augmented dance, no? That sometimes there's this relationship and why we use interactivity is also to reveal hidden aspects of the dance, no? Because dance is a very particular form of art because it's limited to the body, no? Which is, it's a limitation, but it's part of its beauty, no? Because your body ends in your body, in the kinesphere, even if, of course, the mind, no, doesn't end in the head, no? And the consciousness, no? This is another thing. And, but sometimes through sonifications, the translation of movement into sound, the audience can perceive inner states of the dancer, no? That sometimes in a performance, in a theater, no? They'll have the body like, I say this compared to visual arts, no? Visual arts, okay. Or with music, no? Like, for example, Yanis Xenakis, a composer we loved, he did pieces with anti-bombing sirens, no? That you could hear in all the cities, no? Like amazing sounds. A visual artist can create a huge screen, no? And flood you with an image, no? But the dance remains in the body, no? And sometimes the image, when you combine it with video, sometimes humans, we tend to look at the screen, no? This is something very, very curious, no? And the body has this limitation, this beauty, this uniqueness. The body is your instrument, but also you are your body somehow, but not only your body, no? Because when someone dies, it throws this spiritu mundi and is not anymore alive. So there is, it seems to be something more, no? But so also this augmented reality, this augmented dance also for us is a way to enhance the awareness of your body for the dancer and also to translate this, no, and reveal this this mystery, unlocking this, for use as quote de la Junta's concept, no, yeah. Unlocking the embodied creativity, hidden and sometimes so ephemeral and not conveyed through words. No?
The ineffable, I think, is what Scott de la Junta often, like the ineffable aspects of dance. Maybe that I relate to what you say, that new technologies can reveal or create different relations between the ineffable aspects of dance and relation, if I continue.
Yeah, exactly, yes. Unlocking the ineffable.
Sorry?
Unlocking the ineffable.
Unlocking the ineffable.
I heard.
But in interaction, in interactivity.
Yes,
because that,
exactly. In this case, with interactivity, when you reveal, for example, equality, like for example, balance. No, some years ago we built shoes in order to track a minimal movement. No, that how the most amazing things that is just being stand up, no, and not falling. All the things that are happening just when somebody is standing up in a totally perpendicular position, for example, to other animals like a snake. No? That is the most distant creature in the in the planet, no? Probably, no? So this is a great achievement, and this is a lot of things going on, no? And there's in these dances, no? That happen in everyday life.
Would you like to also respond to the question about what kind of interactivity you are looking for?
So you understood that the choreography that I do make are based on the gesture of the movement of the audience. So that means that the movement come from the visitors to go back to the visitors in order that he can go further. So this is on time. I work with the meaning of movement, actually. I don't show the movement when I choreograph. I speak. I only speak. I tell them, so here is the water, here is so there is always, of course, an environment, a subject, a topic, and they are crossing an idea with their body and improvisation, and then I orient their movement in their improvisation. And so for me, this improvisation come from an idea, a topic, a fiction, a story, something. So it's a bit less abstract, let's say, as a wish. It's more that they understand somehow the game. It's a bad word, but somehow the game, and they wish to go further in the story. They are immersed in the choreography and wish to go further in the story. Yes, it's what I wish, the immersion in the dance to follow a story. Because environment is reacting to the movement of the dancer too. When it's in virtual reality, that's possible in real time. So, and it's an environment or virtual or a real one. So, and you follow, you are immersed in a choreography, and you become the author of this choreography somehow. Is it an answer?
Maybe if I interpreted it well, as a spectator, you become part of the ecosystem you set out in the story, where, let's say, the nature and how nature develops and relates to human being, and you become part of it as a. Is there interactivity you foresee in your new project, that you can relate to the nature elements and be part of the creation of a choreography?
Actually, in this project, in Spiritus Mundi, precisely so, you have to harmonize the environment, the nature, and the ecosystem, to make a balance for the ecosystem around you, and the ecosystem around you, and in different zones of the garden. So you are, yes, a part of course, because you are a part of the breath of the world as well. So, and you are making as a game. I'm sorry with this word, but you have with the dance to make the harmony between with the element, and Euphonios the AI is showing you somehow, proposing you some movement to that you choose the natural element, that you can choose the natural element at the where the nature is, where Zoe starts a movement. She's she's at a point of the growing of a plant at one point, and you have to behave with Euphonios in order that this plant grow. And you have to make the full cycle of life to go in the next puzzle, actually. And you can do that all over the garden to have access of the memory, the mystery that will save in the end the planet. So this is I don't know if I understand well your question, but it's a bit. What I can say about interactivity.
And maybe Carla, can you maybe you can mention an example of the test beds, and maybe more from the theater side.
Yes,
how's your engagement with the audience?
Yes, I'd love to share one example where I felt like that really worked out well. It was a youth production at the Dortmund Opera House, where the story was about social media and told the story of 3 teenagers, and basically the audience, which was teenagers the same age portrayed as the stories on stage, could through an app, choose and react to what was happening on stage. And depending on at some points in the dramaturgy, the audience was able to choose which story do I find most interesting? Where do I want to go deeper? So is it that person's story, or do I want to know more about her background? Or is it actually the other guy that I find most tempting? So the singers accepted to learn basically 2 hours of singing, knowing that it would only be an hour 15, and the starting point was always the same, but then you had kind of 3 different options and several moments where it was the audience deciding what kind of story would be told. So that's a way where the audience is not just, you know, typing on their phone, but it doesn't really matter what they do, but they've really had an influence on how the story would develop and continue. So that's an example, I'd say, of inviting the audience to really become part in where do I want to follow.
Thank you. Any other questions?
Yeah, I have a question for you, Suzanne. We have seen in the discussion with Gwendaline that movement patterns are very important for a choreographer. Not only for the choreographer, but also for the dancer. And we also discussed, you asked a very interesting question to Carla about the use of technologies in the digital world. But what about the dance world? In particular, the dance schools. How are the current practice, and what will be the future in dance school of such kind of technologies?
Yes, thank you for this question, Alain. And we already touched it a little bit in our preparations. And actually, I have to say, I almost don't know any dance school that is already using these technologies in this way. But Gwendaline does know. And I also wanted to throw this question also further to Erik Lind, who's also one of our partners of the consortium. But if so I don't know. Probably the same hesitation. I know that there was an experiment also with the Motion Bank and Codarts, you know, like in the Netherlands, a dance academy to annotate classes, also for teaching, to use annotation tool to what we call like semantic enrichment, like to give words to class, to ways of instructing, and also for self reflection and annotation only, but like motion capture. And Gwendaline, maybe you know, I'm not aware of examples yet.
Yes, but I know it because I do it. I know it because we open with the University of South of France and the Pole National Pole of Superior National PNSD. National Pole Superior of Dance in Cannes, I don't know, Cannes Mougins, PNSD it's called. And they come to the university where there is a huge space, and I teach them integration of real-time technology in dance, actually. Well, and so I know this, it's called PNSD in Cannes. They do that.
And if I may repeat, you teach real-time interaction with new technologies for dancers, no? Integration.
Of real-time technology.
Integration of real-time technology in dance with dance students?
Only dance students, but in university. In a university.
Mm-hmm. And can you explain a little bit how does the class look like?
It's a mess. No, because in Toulon, we have in the university we have a huge space with a lot of tools, and each year there is new tools, and each year I do like I learn a movie. You know, I do because I do a project with them, and each year we do a new project all together. And they participate in the conception, and then we make it all together, and they dance, and they have all a computer with all what we need, and we have also a huge green room Now there is LED panel, LED, I don't know how you say panel, LED tools, you know, for the movie. Each year there is new tools. We use axiometry, we use, and each year I do a new project with them depending on the tools arriving and they can benefit for their, it's not a school done for that, because they are really learning dance, even classical dance, and really the full day. But there is a part of their, I am a little part of, to tell them, yes, it's existing, and we can have fun, because we have really fun with them, and we can show, and we show it in Printemps des Universités, but it's not public, you know, it's just for teaching. It's more, it looks like young people having fun, actually.
So to learn to create with new technologies.
To dream with it and to see how we can go further with it.
Mm-hmm. I can also imagine, we touched briefly, we're going to close, I think, soon. But also in learning techniques, I know, like from more commercial or like motion capture suits to learn sports, or like to improve sporting techniques, all kinds of, you see passing by, we never engage with it, but I can imagine there are possibilities to improve, you know, technique or a method, or I don't know, Carla, if you are aware of dance schools using these new technologies, or on the more direct, not creation. Also Eric Lind from ACuTe, of course, there are art schools that work with new technologies, but really on the body, that you learn, that you use them to improve the dance. I don't know yet, but
they have also theoretical lesson, but not with me.
I know that exist some that use these technologies for example, self-practicing, self-improving, but I don't remember, so I cannot, but I have seen this.
Yeah. Carla, you know, in Germany, some dance schools who use...
No, but as I'm coming more from the theater, I'm more aware of students learning to become directors or actors who are working with it and who are doing workshops and smaller projects with that. But dance schools, I'm not aware of.
Eric, you want to add something as a last word about these new technologies in education?
It's hard to specify a specific school, because then you have a learning arch of 4 years using all these media and technologies. I'm more in favor of, let's say, issue-based research and creation questions. So we have, let's say, the SNDO school is a school of new dance development, and let's say half of the students are interested how bodies in media can be addressed. So we live in media, or living bodies, we are living bodies in an ecosystem of media. So they're much interested in the use of media, but often it starts with a research question or a thing you would like to achieve. So that might be, I want to have 6 dancers on stage with a virtual eye on top of them, and that they watch each other and look at each other as anthropomorphic bodies, not human beings, but expressive bodies, and have them projected on screen, while also having them in a VR world. So they have research questions or longings, and then you just run projects. And sometimes it's a dancer collaborating with a director, or a dancer collaborating with a stage designer. Also, we'd like to form creative teams around a certain topic, and then trying to invent a kind of performance together. So it's not a fixed, let's say, dance school strategy, but it's more a kind of open curriculum development where the making is in the center. So yeah, it's not a fixed curriculum school, but just in the creation you formulate how to relate to media with
As a
your
tool.
bodies.
Yeah, as a tool, one of the tools for
One of the
creation.
tools,
Yeah.
yeah.
Thank you. Were there any questions on the chat? Are there any online? No? Okay, shall we close here? Is it a good moment?
Yes, I think so.
Yeah. Ok, merci beaucoup à l'Université Jean Monnet. And the guests, Gwendaline, Philippe, Pablo, Carla,